12 yin set to power up. The imaginary string holding us up at the top of the head. Body relaxes, relaxation cascading down. Palms facing flat down. Special attention on the middle finger of each hand. Inhaling to the belly. Exhale, washing down. Inhaling deep. Exhale, washing down. Inhale, breath lifts the wrists. Exhale, wash the color to the palms and fingertips. Inhaling deep, interlace, exhaling down, down, down. Inhaling up, stretching out of the hips onto the toes, exhaling down. Beautiful. Inhale, breath lifts the wrists. Exhale, wash the color out. Inhale, draw it up. Interlace the fingers, exhaling down. Inhaling up. Breath pulls the palms up. Exhale, wash the color out. And really give yourself this moment right here. The moment of the hand. Let's lower this just a little bit. The moment of, as you come down, exhaling, and the hands finish, and they're completely empty. So there's sometimes folks will finish and they'll come in here, and then they'll come back out, and they'll do this little wavy thing. And that's really nice. It's a nice experience. But to have that moment of complete off, and then to turn it back on, is a really important moment that you want to expand your awareness of, especially when it comes to push hands and timing and grappling and rhythm. But it also is really important, I find, for...
My coffee, hold on one second. Excuse
me. All right. So saying this moment right here of just having that full relaxation. And let's get even more specific with the term. We're doing our best to stay relaxed the entire time. So when we exhale and we wash the color out, we're being very attentive to the breath, visualizing as the color washing down the arms and legs. And if the legs are challenging, visualizing as the color washing down the arms and legs. And if the legs are challenging, and inhaling up, color out, inhale deep, exhaling down, inhaling up, stretch out of the hips onto the toes. Exhale, wash down. Right here. Yeah, that relaxed moment. And just think back to some of the moments that we've had in push hands where let's say we're doing the single-handed push hands exercise. And you can even do this right now with me. With you can put one foot forward, the same hand, same foot forward. So I'm sitting on my left leg, my right foot is forward, toes up, looking at the palm like a mirror, and I'm going to exhale and I'm going to push forward into my A-frame. So a straight line from the top of the head to the back heel, and inhale, scoop, Yeah, exactly. Scooping. Looking at the palm, exhaling. Inhale, scooping. Pulling, the breath pulls you back, and exhale, pushing forward onto the front leg. Inhale, scooping back. Exhale, forward. So when you scoop to inhale, palm turns up, cuts up right here. Palm turns up right here. And then inhale, the breath pulls you back. Looking at the palm like a mirror, exhale, show it. So the reason I wanted to do this for a second is that when you're doing this exercise and when we're doing it with a partner, you want to be smooth, but then when you start to bridge gradually into more variables, you're going to start to have moments, pockets of what could be called free breathing. Grandmaster Chen, William Chen, calls it free breathing. A lot of times the free breathing moments are connected to rhythm, breaks in rhythm. So you have this rhythm, and then all of a sudden you have this free breathing moment or a full empty moment. So when I'm exhaling here, I'm inhaling, I'm drawing in, and so at every moment in the first way that we're doing this exercise, we're drawing color in and pushing it out, so there's no break. And then we take this one little moment here, maybe, right here, and exhale all the way and drop down. If you this is just one example that you might have felt in when we've done push hands together, and then you push out. Now we just added a slight rhythmic change. And this slight rhythmic change is very similar to dropping the hands out completely. And that dropping the hands out can be dropping a hip out. It could be dropping your weight. It could be lifting weight and dropping weight. And so a 1-2. And these little bounces start to come into play, and they're not really in the majority of the Wu style exercises that we'll do. They start to come into play with more of the freestyle stuff, but they are in the Yang style reverse breathing form. So it's just really important to recognize this concept of dropping out right here. Full relaxation. And let's switch and just do the other side to counterbalance. One hand on the small of the back. So if my left foot is forward, my left hand is out. My right hand's on the small of my back. Looking at the palm like a mirror, exhaling. Showing the mirror. Inhale, scoop. So the hip and waist turn, palm goes up, and I pull back. Inhale even deeper. Look at the palm. Exhale, washing the color. Exactly. And you keep the heel down as you go forward. Inhale, scoop. Inhale even deeper. Exhale, washing forward. Inhale, scoop. Inhale even deeper. Exhale, wash. Eye stays on the middle finger of the hand. And all of this, like the eye locked on the middle finger, helps to keep the focus. You have your body mechanics, which you can look internally and make adjustments in your body with the mind's eye. You have all of this personal geometry you're working on, so that straight line from the heel to the top of the head. When you go back, you feel that imaginary string lifting you from the top of the head. It emphasizes as you go forward. The pelvis is rotating on the femur, so you still have that sense of straightness without bending the spine. And then, as you pull back, give yourself a little moment of softening that hip, the same hip that the arm is out, and soften it and then come forward. Yep, exactly. And now we've just added a slight rhythmic change. And it's a little wind. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, let's widen the stance. Go to hands on the heels. hollow fists on the hips. Imaginary string lifting you up.
On the heels, I like it.
Sorry, say it again?
Hands on the heels.
Hands on the heels. We can do, I'm totally down to do that too. Exhaling, pelvis rotates to the fever. Inhale, breath pulls you to the side and up. Eyes on the belly button. Exhaling down. Inhaling, breath pulls you up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling. Then reverse it. Remember to lock into that sense of the breath as a rope that you're climbing and releasing.
Just leave it, please. Thank you.
That was your coffee?
Okay, hold on 1 second, Jerry.
That was your coffee?
Yeah.
So did it take them a long time to get upstairs from like the ground floor?
Yeah. Because another doorman brings it up.
Oh wow, okay. Inhaling out. Let's take a moment and just go for this exercise. Inhaling. And let's do this one a little bit more inflated. And what I mean by that is have a sense of fullness and roundness rather than straightness for this variation of it. So we're going to inhale and feel as if your triceps are balloons as the fingers reach, and the triceps are rounding, helping to round the arms from the shoulders. And exhale. Inhale. Triceps are rounding the arms. And let that roundness go spiraling, spinning the fingers. So as I'm reaching, the fingers spin. And the body spins a little bit. So it's a slight variation from the version we normally do. And allow the shoulder blade to disappear into the upper back and for the rib cage to open up. And my bottom arm, rather than just reaching across the hips straight down, see the inflation is bringing my elbow away from my ribs. So that inflated tricep going up. So we're adding another layer of dynamism. Then when we exhale, we're releasing the inflation. So when we exhale, the arms are dropping down. So inhale. Exhale. So our arms out at rest, quote unquote, at rest are going to have the elbows down, and then they inflate to go the other direction. The triceps inflate, bringing the elbows up, helping the fingers to spin as you reach over and reach across them. And then exhale. And of course, while you're doing this, you have the sense of the feet anchored into the ground. Yeah, Do you feel the difference in the spinning?
Yes.
How does that feel?
Good.
This is definitely one of the exercises that I would recommend before you do something like play tennis.
Yeah.
Really spiraling the body out and making sure that you're feeling the color visualization from the fingertips, especially index, middle finger, and thumb, washing into the belly from both arms. So you feel the inflation, you feel the belly filling with the color, and then you exhale, wash that color out, and stay very relaxed, seated elbows down, as if only strings are holding up the wrists and the elbows are down. And then all of a sudden, the fingers energize. So this is a great example of combining the Wu style of Tai Chi and the reverse breathing Yang style. So this posture right here, with the wrists out, very relaxed, and the elbows down, it's as if a string is holding up the wrists. So elbows down keeps the arms heavy, even though they're light in your mind. If you were to drop it on an opponent, the arms are like blades, which is very much like the Wu style. And notice that my elbow is relaxed and aligned with my hip, so dropping the hip drops the elbow. So this is a very martial position from the Wu style mechanics. So here, but it's also very relaxed. So once we inflate and start reaching over, we're immediately expanding out of that Wu style structure, and we're going into this beautiful spiraling version of the Yang style structure. And then we're exhaling, going right back to that Wu style. Elbows down, shoulders very, very soft, meaning minimize tension in the shoulders because of the angle of the elbows. And then inhale, inflating, spiraling, and we're opening up everything. So the top hand spiraling, the bottom hand spiraling. Notice that the bottom hand is going thumb toward my hip, the top hand, thumb going away from the shoulder. Same time. And the more you soften and start to feel the color fill up the belly, and you visualize that sense of energy storing in the belly, you can kind of get past the sense of stretching. Because when you stay too focused on the sense of stretching, you don't have the sense of the cultivation of the energy. You're just warming up the muscles, you're stretching the posture, which feels awesome. And a lot of people will just stay on that. But for us, we want to really make sure that we're using this as dynamically as possible to store the color visualization in the belly. Exhaling, feeling really soft, centered. So again, while you're doing the mechanical movements, you're relaxing it, incrementally relaxing as much as you can to allow that color visualization to be the loudest. You know, if you had a bunch of sattvic thoughts, this would be the loudest. One more. So let's take that visualization and let's go right into, since the lower back was hurting last time from the golden tortoise, we're going to skip that one. And exhale, hands floating rib height, 6 breaths. Inhale up the soft part of the arm into the belly, exhale down the hard, out the fingertips. And stay seated, make sure we're seated on this. So widen your stance a little bit more. Yeah, and then bend the knees a little bit more, weight on the heels. Make sure there's an internal smile just for you. Turn the palms up. 6 breaths. Inhale, rolling the breath from the toes to the top of the head. Exhale from the head down to the heels. 6 times. Slight tension in the anus, tongue in the ceiling of the mouth emphasized here. Inhale, breath pulls the wrist in. Exhale, hands float down. Inhale, breath pulls the wrists to the small of the back. Hold the breath and swallow saliva twice. And then exhale, pushing the wrists down the lower back like a massage. And inhale. Right hand over left. Pause, hold the breath, and swallow twice. Right hand on the solar plexus, left hand on the lower dantian, 2 inches below the belly button. Follow the second swallow all the way down to the lower dantian, and then inhale as it ripples there, and stand up. Exhale, sinking. Exhale even deeper, spreading apart. Inhale, stage 1. Even deeper, stage 2. And the same concept as we were just doing in the other exercise of softening it so much that the loudest experience is the color visualization going into the belly. That's how we're going to really turn this exercise, all these exercises, into energy cultivation and energy storage. Inhale, stage 1. Even deeper, 2. Exhale, stage 1. Exhale even deeper, 2. Color gathering in the belly. Gets even brighter. Exhaling. Condensing it and then flatten it, making room for more. And stack more on top of the last batch. Again, as we allow this color visualization to be the loudest, we want the sense of other muscles and our bone alignment to almost melt together, softening together. The imaginary string is keeping us aligned. The weight still is on the heels, mostly, center of each heel. So that means there's less pressure on kneecaps. As you sink, make sure that the knees feel good, and if you need to make any adjustment, meaning pointing the toes and the knee slightly outward or slightly inward, whatever feels the most comfortable, that's what's going to allow you to leave behind the sensations, let them melt away or melt together, and focus more so on the color visualization. And again, with that understanding that we're having the faith that you're storing energy with every breath, gathering ether in the belly, overflows, condense it, and flatten it, storing way for more. Now let's do 6 more seated. Make sure you're testing your stance with the seated posture. Not so low that it burns right away, but low enough that you're putting in some work. And in terms of speed, there can be, I should say, a version of movement where you're going too slow. And what that means is essentially like stagnation. Is the energy becoming stagnant because of how slow someone's moving? And what I've taken away from that, from both Grandmaster William Chen and from Sifu Keith Tong, from two different styles, is really more so, is your attention, a person, the practitioner, is their attention and willpower remaining connected as it goes slower and slower? So, to me, it still has to do with speed of awareness and attention and intent. And if you can move your attention and intent that slowly because you're constantly deepening, that's awesome. But if you find yourself disconnecting from the movement, having other thoughts pop in while you're moving that slow, it's fluctuating the clarity of the visualization. So it might be valuable, and that's something that I think every person needs to check in on for themselves. There's definitely a speed at which I can feel the most comfort of the visualization and the circulation change within my body when I do it. And then when I slow beyond that, I have to work harder, which is okay because I do want to deepen my experience. And then inhaling, breath lifts the wrists. Wrists lift the body. Massage the temples. Inside. Hands float down. And then exhale forward, in and up. And gentle grab. Remember that the grab is... Still can't believe that we did this exercise with a small screen for so long. I would come close enough. So remember that you can touch index finger and thumb, or you can touch index, middle finger and thumb, or you can touch all fingers to the thumb, whatever works best for you. But the sense is that you want to be able to feel the stickiness as if you're pulling taffy. As you inhale, massage the temples. Exhale, sink, sit, push forward. And another note is that the fingers don't pull. It's the breath that pulls the wrist that pulls the fingers. So it's a chain reaction. The fingers here connect. The breath pulls the wrists, and the wrists the breath is doing the tugging. So all that's manifested through right from the fingertips. So gentle connection with the fingertips, and that's all you need to do is connect. And then breath pulls the wrist. Hands float down. Exhaling out. Inhaling up. Massage the temples. Making sure the shoulder blades disappear into the upper back. And 6 more seated. Beautiful. Inhale, breath pulls the wrists in, elbows soften. Exhale, hands float down. Inhale, breath lifts only the wrists. Inhale even deeper, energizing the fingertips. Inhale even deeper, pulling apart like taffy, eye on the middle finger of the right hand. And then inhale even deeper, fingers going up, up, as if you're running through a waterfall. Exhale down. Beautiful. Clever cat catches the mouse. And it's a great title for this exercise. Inhaling up, as if you have the backs of the paws coming up, and then inhale even deeper, showing the claws. Even deeper. Head stays forward, only the eyes move as you follow the right middle finger. Inhale deep. Eyes stay on the right middle finger as you go up. And then capture it and exhale, dropping the hips and the hands. And you're going to come down as far as possible and soften out. Inhaling deep. Even deeper with the fingers. Even deeper with the wrists. And notice that the arms come out to like a crescent moon posture. Elbows are down. Breath is pulling the wrists and the fingers are connecting, just like in the last exercise. Eye on the middle finger. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Even deeper. Even deeper. Inhale up from the wrist, right hand over left. Inhale even deeper. Yeah, and when you're right over left, boom, right here. So let's take a moment for that. Right hand over left. Inhale, breath lifts the wrist. And then right here, and feel it open. And notice that the arms are actually staying connected as they open. And feel that beautiful little stretch in the shoulders. And the shoulders don't raise at all. Just right here. Boom. And you get that little stretch. I feel it roll down here. And then and the right middle finger. Inhale. Open. Down. And then 6 more seated. How's this feeling in the shoulders?
Good.
Okay.
Gonna need to do a little stretching after this.
Okay, sounds good. Remember, when you stay seated and you go up, you hold for a 2 count. And the shoulders, gentle stretch. So shoulder blades forward, and then exhale down. Counting up 1, deeper 2, 3, 4, relaxing. Exhaling down. So oftentimes for me, I have to check in with my shoulder here, right on that movement, because I can feel my shoulders start to activate here, and it's a discipline to allow the base of the shoulder blade, the base of the scapula, to roll forward, rotate forward, rather than rely on the upper shoulder. So the upper shoulder is going to create more tension here. So I'm like, okay, here, and as I'm going up, I'm pushing the base of the shoulder blades, the scapula, forward, so that I don't have this lift up here, and then releasing that. And that's a major Tai Chi mechanic that happens in push hands all the time, and it's helpful for dropping weight. Inhaling, breathless the wrist, even deeper, eye and the middle finger. And then right here, as you fingers go through the waterfall, you show the claws upward, the base of the shoulder blade pushing forward, as if that's where the protracting scapula, that's where the power is coming from. It's similar to white crane spreads his talons, where when we push forward, we're pushing the shoulder blade forward, but the emphasis is more in the center of the shoulder blades going forward. So we don't have it as much on the bottom because of the angle. It's not being emphasized because of this angle. But here,
I think that's a lot of my issue. I think for some reason I don't even know I'm doing it, but I'm somehow tensing those muscles.
up here, right?
Throughout here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so and that's exactly what we want to consciously check in with and avoid. So the second you start feeling, and that's where a huge opportunity in these exercises is actually one of the biggest opportunity in these exercises is training you to soften the shoulders. It's the Neigong that trains you to soften the shoulders for your form and for your push hands. So there's a lot of work that's done on the shoulders here and softening them, and it could be overlooked in form because you'll see people go in their forms, but here almost the entire discipline, the entire time for each exercise, you're focusing on you're checking in to make sure that you're softening those shoulders. And that's why the breathwork and visualization become so key to achieving that, because the breath is pulling, you're visualizing the breath pulling strings apart. And when I do that, my shoulder blades are coming forward as if the strings are pulling them outward. And so now my shoulder blades are activated, and then as my fingers, only the fingers wave here, controlled by the breath. So here, inhale even deeper. Now, as my fingers being pulled up by the breath, the shoulder blades are pushing forward on the bottom to minimize the tension in the shoulder up here. Because if you just lift your hands normal, you'll feel all the flex, the hard flex here. So you have to reprogram the mind to work the body a bit differently. We'll do two more. And staying seated. Capture and exhale. Beautiful. And the exhalation, relaxing downward. One more. Again, as you pull apart, there's a lengthening from the shoulder blades, from the base of the shoulder blade. And then fingers going up, again pushing from the base. Exhaling down. And the arms are not too far extended. The elbows are down here. Elbows, hip, everything. And then inhaling up. Snapping the whip left and right. Exhale. Breath pushes through the wrist, eye focus on the middle finger, palm facing the chest. Exhale 25%. Inhale, inhale deeper. Exhale through the wrist, eye on the middle finger, palm faces chest. Exhale 25% of this circle here, and then inhale the rest. Exhale 25% of the circle, and then inhale, inhale deeper. Exhale stage 1, exhale deeper 2, inhale, inhale deeper. And again, with this exercise, the 4-stage breath work, meaning 2 in, 2 out, it's a bit more advanced, but I like to clarify that each movement.
Jan, question.
Sure.
You're doing the 4-stage breath work. Are you taking a little pause between each, like stage 1, pause, stage 2, pause, stage 3, or are you just going fluidly through it?
That's a great question. So, are you asking about in general or for this exercise?
For me, what should I? Because I've mostly been like, okay, inhale, then I go just more, and then more and more. But I wonder if to train myself better, it might. I don't know. Take a little like beat between like stage 1 inhale, stage 2 inhale, stage 3 inhale.
I would experiment with that. I think that I was just about to say that you could do 1 exhalation, 1 inhalation, 1 exhalation, 1 inhalation. The multi-stage breath work is really an example of being more connected to the smaller moments. And so that's not for everyone in the beginning stages, but for some, and I think that you've gravitated toward that working for you well. But if you're seeing opportunity to experiment with something, I think the first thing is that are you feeling the circulation? And if you are feeling the circulation, then it's okay. Well, I know that I can feel it this way. What happens if I do that? And then you start to get new information that I would love to hear. Like inhaling, hold, act, and then. And if you're talking about taking little beats like that, I think that's interesting. And even doing it myself right now, 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, inhale 4. That feels really nice. To me, it's really all about the connection. And if you take certain moments to go slower, to find the connection, eventually you're just going to bridge it together yourself. What I mean by that is that having the fluid motion. So there's a version of this where you don't stop.
Yeah.
So that version where you don't stop, there's going to be constant breath work. And that's great to do sometimes, but it's also great to make sure that you have your step-by-step process. And being able to have your own version of that, to me, is very, very important. I think it's actually pivotal for mastery. And let's do the rest seated. Again, the big thing that I always check in on for this exercise is, do I feel the heat in my belly, and can I visualize that heat pushing from the belly through the wrist as I exhale? And then from the fingers back into the belly as I inhale. It's that one visualization that's key for me for this exercise. It was the reason that I started loving, this became my like second favorite Neigong exercise in this set, because of that, how clear that visualization was for me as a teenager. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. You can actually feel that connection. And the belly should feel like a honey pot, like warm. And I use the term honeys because of the color visualization. You want that golden kind of color coming, whether it's orange or gold or golden brown, whatever color you're visualizing. But this chakra, the second chakra, is the orange one. So you really want to be able to connect to that color spectrum and push that color spectrum through the wrist, and then pull it back in. And remember to stay seated. And then from here, white 8 pushes it away. Remember the extension. So this is part of the stretch that we want to give ourselves, is the shoulder blade stretching, the shoulder soft, and the nose elbow wall or camera. So to have that stretch here, and the soft shoulder on the other side, meaning this shoulder is soft, my waist or my hips are turning, whatever feels better for your lower back. And then exhale, push forward, in and up. Inhaling. And again, you're getting that stretch right now. And exhale. And to help with alignment, for my personal geometry, my wrist stays pretty much in front of my heart. So when I turn, I know I'm extending from there. If my hand goes too far back or gets too far in front of the heart line, the heart area, I know that my alignment is somewhat off in the arm, and therefore I might be tensing, I might be flexing too much here or there. So if I just keep this wrist right this heart level, and then I turn, I know I have the proper posture, and then exhale out. And again, today our big theme, similar to that inflation exercise, is softening through all these exercises. So really soften through. Inhaling deep. And as you turn, feeling the imaginary line, the imaginary string, as if the whole body is vines stretching around that pillar. So you should feel a bit of a stretch here, not just in the shoulder, but also in all the intercostal muscles, everything surrounding underneath the rib cage. All the way through the hip. And then let's do 6 seated. pushing with the heel of the palm, eye on the middle finger of the top hand. And soften in the elbows a bit more as you push, so you can feel it coming from down here rather than up here. So, coming from down here. So here, my bottom hand is pushing with the uncoiling of the hip and waist. So it's extending out, and the breath is pushing through the belly to achieve this shape. And keeping the shoulder soft, the back shoulder very soft. So one note, I just noticed, your back hand, your bottom hand, is coming up here, and then you're pushing from here, which is why...
Something's going on here, hold on a second.
Oh, no problem.
Somebody's calling me.
Oh.
Turn it off. Where'd you go?
I'm right here.
What am I doing?
So your bottom hand, as you're turning, is coming up currently and creating some tension in your shoulder and bicep area as you push out. It's causing you to hold tension here. So we want to soften that out even more, and soften that out by just, if I take one hand away, meaning the turning hand, you'll see that I'm pushing from the bottom up and out. And I'm inhale, bringing in, and pushing from the bottom up and out. So there's very much a soft sense of the breath and the shoulder blade, and it's coming up and out. And even if you sped it up, it's a really particular type of strike. It's actually coming up and in, and so that upward angle, if you were to strike someone in the chest or the sternum, you get that sense, or solar plexus, you'll get that sense of, oh, that kind of reaction, or in the face, etc. So from a martial standpoint, there's a lot of value to that angular digging up and coming right in front of the heart or face, etc. So again, from here, it's pushing forward and up. So I've just taken away one hand so you can see the trajectory. And notice how that allows me to keep this soft relax on the hips the entire time. But if I were to bring it up, I immediately start to get that pull. And remember, the visualization is whipping. So it's whipping at this. It should almost feel like a gigantic movement. And what I mean by that, in terms of scale, like you're watching a Godzilla film and the tail is moving. So in a similar way, so now let's add the other arm. And we can stay seated for these. Inhale, pulling across. Exhale. Beautiful. And remember, that bottom arm is still coming out and protecting the lower gate. If I took the strike away, there's still this sense of lower gate protection. So I'm being protected right here. If you're moving, you might protect right here. It's a lower block. So lower hand staying. Beautiful. Make sure to keep your stance shoulder width and a half apart, so a little bit wider seated. How's the lower back feeling?
Good.
And when one hand's out, they're both out. Then boom. Beautiful. And one more push, and then that hand that pushes will flatten. And the bottom hand will inhale, breath lifting the wrists up the inside of the body. Place the palm facing up on the top of the shoulder bicep. And then inhale, eye on the middle finger as you reach across. Beautiful. And exhale, uncoil. Awesome. And then it comes on the inside. Flatten the other hand, inhale, reaching across, and exhale. And while you're doing this, you're doing your best to keep your head and your nose facing forward the entire time, but the eyes follow the middle finger of the extended hand, and then exhale, switch to the pushing hand. Inhale, eye stays on the middle finger of the extended hand, and then exhale. And when you pull the arm back, the one that's pulling back as the other one pushes, it stays on the same side in front of the ribs of the pushing hand side. Inhaling deep. This is Sparrow Pierces the Clouds. And this is an opportunity for a nice shoulder stretch right here. So similarly, when we pull out here from behind the elbow, when you're up here, you're gently sliding. This arm is supporting all of the near dead weight of the top hand. So as that weight pulls across because of the hip, you're gonna get a stretch up here. Let's do some uplifting heaven to stretch this out. And let's go right into our inflating to get the back moving. Same concept we were doing before, so remember we're inflating the bottom hand, triceps are opening. Exhale. So not just across the shoulders and hips, but inflating and twisting as we go across the shoulders and hips. And do your best to identify wherever needs to be stretched and give a gentle emphasis to that area. So if it's the hip line, lower back, the rib cage, the chest, wherever you feel that need, give a gentle emphasis. There's also, where's the tension that you might be feeling right now? Okay, right there. So, let's do this it's a little Qigong warm-up exercise. Hands on the top of the head, elbows out, and it's a little teapot kind of dance. And you're opening up rib cage and hip, and then collapsing elbow toward the hip, and then switch sides. So notice that my hips go out to meet the elbow. So I'm going to collapse hip to elbow here, so the hip is moving forward and the elbow is moving down, and then switch. And do your best to counterbalance the hip and elbow meeting by opening up the rib cage and the hip, the obliques, the lower back, and getting a gentle stretch out of there. So the elbow reaches up, and the hands aren't interlaced on the head, they're just gently touching. And that way you can really reach up as you go down. How's that feel in that area of the back?
Good.
Okay. And so eventually you speed it up. So you're here and you shake it out. And you shake it out and extend it. Shake it out and extend it. I can go for some of that too. Let's actually switch into a cycle of some of these single leg stretches. So and let's get the lift in the lower back, or the yogic lift, to accentuate the stretch. So suck in the belly button, lift the collarbone, shift the weight to one side, and the foot going up. All the weight going through the heel of the standing foot, emphasized. Imaginary string lifts you up. Find the center again. Hips and shoulders square. Do your best to achieve that.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was great. Eye staying focused on one area. Inhale deep. Exhale through the knee. Knee falls down, opens the hip. And then inhale through the toes. The foot reaches to the ceiling. Exhale through the knee. The knee opens the hip. It's melting down as if gravity's got a weight on it. And then inhale from the toe, reaching back up. Exhale down through the knee, opening the hip, and inhale through the toe. So with every breath, you're going a bit deeper. We do about 3 cycles, and then exhale down and switch sides. And when you switch sides, make sure before you switch all the way, you go into the middle, suck in the belly button, lift the collarbone, find that structure, and then shift the weight to the heel. Exactly. You can wash the color down the leg. Inhale, switch it up. Check in with the hips and shoulders. Find your alignment. Imaginary string. Inhaling deep and exhale, knee. As if there's a weight on it, opening the hip. And then inhale, the toes reach behind. That's when you gently pull. As the toes reach up, you gently pull up. And then you hold that pull. Exhale through the knee. The knee opens the hip. And then you inhale, toes reach up, and a gentle pull. You add to the toes reaching to get more stretch. And exhale through the knee. Remember, check in with the hips and shoulders, being square forward. And then inhale, the toes reach up, and you gently pull again. And then exhale, drop it down. And cycle into sucking the belly button, lift the collarbone, shift the weight onto the heel. And we're going to do opposite, hand to foot. And make sure that the thumb, whatever hand you're using, is facing away from the body. So if my right arm, my thumb is going to point to the right. Still belly button, collarbone, shift the weight. Grab the foot. And remember, for this one, the knee reaches out and the toe reaches up. So my left knee is going outward and up. And when you exhale into the posture, sucking the belly button with the collarbone, feeling the arch in the lower back, as if the body's lifting out of the lower back. And then inhale, lift the knee and the toes. Belly button, collarbone, lifting up. Inhale, lift the knee and the toes. Feel the extension. Exhale, slowly drop down. Switch sides. Belly button sucks in, collarbone up, switch, exhaling down. Belly button, collarbone. Knee lifts up and toes. Knees up and out, toes up. Just make sure that one knee starts to point outward. And switch sides one more time each side on that same exercise. Super important to do these exercises at least twice to give you a sense of how's the back feel, first of all.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah, it's important to do them at least twice because the second time you do it, you're going to have greater range of motion. So you really want to not only warm it up once, that's why it's recommended to do it 3 times. And we can take a little break, like hands on the hips, to get that same exercise that you're doing. Inhale deep, and let's exhale, support the lower back by pushing the hips forward gently, and then from forward, push with the left arm through the right hip, exhaling, and then keep the pressure pushing back as you go forward. Yep. And then keep the pressure pushing toward the other way. Wherever you're bending toward, you're pushing the opposite way. So the hands are very active here. Inhaling, of course, as you come up, leaning back, and exhaling, going again around. And notice that my hands are, notice how they're wrapping around the hips, pushing. So if I'm leaning forward, my hands are pushing on my hips back. If I go to the right, my hands pushing to the left, vice versa. As I come forward, I'm pushing. If I'm leaning back, I'm pushing my hips forward. And then let's reverse it. Exhaling as I drop. Inhaling as you come up. And I definitely recommend keeping the feet shoulder width apart and parallel for this as well, so that you can really track your progress and flexibility and have a sense of alignment. And going around twice for this one as well. Exhaling down, inhaling up. And we're taking it super slow to support the entire time. Make it very controlled. And then once you're up, make the circle smaller and, painting. Really think about you having paint on every side of the hip on the perimeter and just rolling around making a big circle. Do it about 10 times and then reverse it. And then sucking the belly button, collarbone, and then now try that same exercise with the opposite hand to foot. Sucking the belly button, lift the collarbone. The knee goes up and out, the toes go up. Making sure the thumb is facing your window right now. Thumb is out. It's to open the shoulder. So really feel the opening in the shoulder too. Inhale up, bring the knee up, toe up. Exhale into the posture. Just let it settle. Up. And exhale, dropping down. And switch sides. Feels smoother the second time, right? Belly button, collarbone up, and then shift the weight. Again, making sure that the thumb is facing out So, one more, and this time, suck in the belly button, lift the collarbone, shift the weight, and this time we're going to take the foot, grab underneath, and bring the blade of the foot to the hip line. And keep the other hand palm open, resting down. Suck in the belly button, lift the collarbone. Exhale, let the knee drop, opening the hip. Are you taking any Epsom salt baths?
Yes.
Good.
And I ordered my BCAA.
Oh, you did? Awesome. I'm going to take an Epsom salt bath today. And switching, exhaling, slowly releasing. Switching sides, sucking the belly button first, and lift the collarbone. Every time you do this lift, this suck in the belly button and lift the collarbone lift, you get a deeper stretch. So it's super important to bring the body out of the hip line and then go into the stretch, to the posture. Checking in with the shoulders, making sure the foot that's holding the hand, or the hand that's holding the foot, is being adjusted by the weight of the foot, going all the way through the shoulder, opening your shoulders, helping you to have wide open shoulders here. Belly button, collarbone. At least 3 deep breaths. And each breath melting away from the hip. And then switch sides one more time each side. Suck in the belly button with the collarbone. Belly button, collarbone. Really check in with the sense of balance in the hip, the lower back. Exhaling down, releasing slowly when you're ready. And one more time the other side. Belly button, collarbone, shift the weight, exhale down. How about we get a little bit of that roller in before we finish up?
Go. What time we got? Good.
Okay, pull this.
Yeah.
Second, let me get this roller. Okay. All right. make sure to give yourself some rolling underneath the lower back as well. So on the buttocks and on the sides, because you definitely, sometimes tension there can pull down, pull the base of the tailbone, etc., and throw it out of alignment. So really just giving yourself some time there. You can even take some time to breathe deeper into the area just above the glutes, just below the bone on the back of the hip, and just focus on that line and exhale into it. And you can alternate sides too, favor the left side for a little bit and favor the right to help relieve some of the tension might be pulling through the hip into the lower back. Even rotating side to side with the hips can also be helpful. And getting the T-band, of course. Yeah, I definitely think your vacation is going to be a great opportunity to share the Tai Chi poem with people.
Totally.
Yeah, definitely get the front of the thighs too. definitely say sometimes just laying in a position and allowing since these are myofascial release rollers, to really allow that foundational principle to run its course of holding a muscle in a particular posture and allowing it to relax, breathing into it.
You gotta stretch. I gotta get going. I got a date.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, let's do some standing stretches. Okay. Two uplifting heavens to reconnect. One. Feet together, 2 fists apart. Inhale, breathless to wrists. Fingers back. Chest up, hips forward, weight on the toes. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Soften the knees, inhaling up. Breathless the wrists. Just lift the body, fingers back. Chest up, hips forward, weight on the toes. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Inhaling up, 1 foot forward. And exhale, wash the color down. Inhaling up, switch. Exhale, wash down. Inhaling up, switch 45 degrees. Exhaling, wash down. Inhaling up, switch 45. Exhaling, wash down. Inhaling up, switch 90. Exhale, wash down. 90. Exhale, wash down. Over the head. Step behind the back. Exhale. Crossing the legs down. Inhaling up. Switch. Exhale, wash it down. Feet shoulder width apart, parallel. Up. Down. Up, turn to the left. Exhale, down. Inhaling up, turn to the right. Exhale, wash the color down. Inhaling up, over the head. Exhaling down. And slapping. Up the front. Inside of the arms. Down the back, outside, up the front, inside, down the back, outside, down the back. And widen the legs, inhaling up, and hands above the knees, pushing out. Gentle sit. So when I say gentle sit, I mean drop your butt back, 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 as you push out. Feel the stretch. Lower the forearms to the inside of the thigh and reach out, opening up more. Three breaths, big breath. Inhale deep, exhale to the muscle, and then inhale, come up. Exhale, fingers float down. 2, 3. Hands together, around the chest. Tapping around. Massaging. Floating rib up. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sternum. Collarbone. Looking up, relaxing the reproductive organs. From collarbone, chin. Turn around. Counterpoint, back of the neck. Getting sand off. And yeah, this should definitely come across the spine, almost like you're gently massaging and pulling the muscles. Very strong. For the hormones, switch. Index middle finger up, over, down, under. Strong pressure. Up on the face to the side, release. Up on the face to the side, release. Up to the side, release. Fingers to the scalp, front to back, back to front, and then massage, front to back, back to front. Gentle slapping, front to back, back to front. Hollow fist, gentle banging, front to back, back to front. Grab the scalp, knees it, let go. 2, 3, release, 1, 2, release, 1, 2, release, 1, release, 1, 2, release, reverse it, 1, release, 1, 2, release, 2, release. Fingers at the top of the forehead, 1, 2, 3, 4. Reverse it, 2, temples, 1, 2, reverse it, 1, 2. Under the eyes, 1, 2, reverse it, 1. On the eyeballs themselves, close the eyes, gentle pressure 5 times, and then reverse 5 circles. Thumb in the groove between the eyeball and bone, tap around, inside to out, over, and the second circle bigger, inside to out, over, third circle biggest, inside to out, over. Eyebrows, 1, bridge of the nose, side of the nose, right outside the nostrils. For the heart, 1, 2, switch, 1, 2, top and bottom, 1, 2, switch, 1, 2, top sides, 1, 2, bottom side, tongue, reverse. Flick the fingers out, thumbs, in between the index finger and thumb, press and hold, and the massage, 1, 2, 3, 5. Other side, same thing, press and hold. You feel the pressure point, it should hurt a little bit in the massage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the pulse, hand, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch on the pulse, rub, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then flick out and grab, 1, 2. Close the eyes, inhale, white light. Spread through the whole body. Inhale, white light, make a big bubble of light around the body. One more breath. Spread the light as far as you can. And gratitude for the body, the space, good people in your life. Hey man, I love you so much. I hope you